Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage. Blah, blah, blah. Nearly remembered the name of my own channel there. Welcome to Football Heritage TV. If you haven't subscribed to FHTV Plus, please do. Good morning. Happy Saturday to you all. Quite a nice day out there today. I just thought we'd put on a bit of a call-in show. It's been a while since we've done one. Always like it because you get some characters. You get those that say some really good stuff and some sensible things. Then you get people like Ben who wants to come on and talk about the bottom of the V. I'm hoping he wants to come back on. I'd love to hear his feelings since when he came on 3 or 4 months ago, Spurs have absolutely gone to shit. And then you had the Nottingham Forest fan who came on and said, oh, I predicted we'd finish in the top 4 or 5. And then I was sent a video of him later that night where he'd said in the summer that he thought Nottingham Forest would finish 16th. So listen, you never know what you're going to get when people jump on to a live fan calling show, but it does give them the opportunity for the people that say it's an echo chamber, for the people that say, oh, you think you're better than us because you're on a camera. Well, listen, here is the chance for anybody to, this is the chance for them to come on and say something and have a chat. It's Saturday. Spurs can't ruin our weekend today, guys. They can't ruin our weekend, which is absolutely lovely. FA Cup this weekend, of course. We are out after going down with a bit of a whimper. Going down with a bit of a whimper at Villa Park, and then Villa yesterday beating Cardiff. So they're into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Man City are playing today. They're the favourites for the Cup. Newcastle playing. Lots of games over this weekend. Forest are playing on Monday night. You've got Man United Fulham this weekend as well. So a lot of big games coming over this weekend. And then Tottenham, we're back in action on Thursday night against AZ Alkmaar away. And I fully expect to win both legs, if I'm honest. I've seen AZ a few times this season. They're a decent outfit. They are. I just don't think they should have anywhere near enough to cope with us. But this is Tottenham Hotspur, so you never know. So if you wanted to call in, if you wanted to talk about, doesn't even have to be Spurs. If you want to talk about football, if you've got a subject you want to talk about, maybe controversial. For example, anyone see I saw this clip going around yesterday where Flav absolutely embarrassed himself. I like Flav Bateman. I think he's a very nice guy from what I've seen of him, but he has the worst football takes I've seen. He predicted we'd be in a title race this season, then has the audacity to go on to a show, and say that Harry Kane was better than Thierry Henry. And you know, when you just think, stop, Spurs fans, stop saying ridiculous things. Stop it. I know it's the internet, but stop saying ridiculous things. Nope. So big up to Flav for that one. I'd love to have Flav on. And all I'd want to question him on about is, mate, you told us in the summer we were in a title race and we're now sitting 13th. But hey, that's how it goes. I'm not knocking him. I just think his football takes are very, very funny. Savva, won't the rest help you on Thursday? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. Absolutely crazy. Daniela Stewart, good morning to you. I said Nottingham Forest fan need to enjoy this season because next season they will struggle with 50. This is what I've been trying to say to the Forest fans, Daniela. But they're in that moment, aren't they, where they've been so rubbish for so long that a good season comes along and they lose their minds and they're better than everyone and their players are better than everyone. Their manager's better than everyone. You know, it just all gets a little bit silly, doesn't it? And you know me, I like football fans that keep their feet on the ground, if I'm going to be brutally honest. You know me, I like football fans that keep their feet on the ground. And sometimes a lot of the silly stuff that is said is truly very silly. The link is in the chat. You must have your name written. You must have your camera on. And you must be somewhere quiet. Please don't ring in if you're sitting with 3 children who are screaming and shouting. Please don't ring in if you're walking down the high street. Please, it does make it very difficult. You think we had the crazy Forest fan who came on, didn't we? Who lied. We had Ben, the V. He came on as well. We had, who else did we have come on? We've had on Gary, who told me that I need to wait and the fruit will bear. The same Gary that told us that Spurs were going to sign Neto, Doué, and Eze all in the summer. And then we ended up signing Wilson Odegaard. These things are funny. These people keep saying these funny things and then what happens is the rest of the fan base reinforces their silly opinions by saying that they're positive. And that's a great place to be in life. Lie, but as long as it's a positive lie, we're all right. Okay? Don't lie negatively. If you lie positively, if you make up really good stuff positively, you're a good fan. You are a good fan. Savva, you are the devil. You're not a real fan, Savva. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? We had Sean from Barbados the other day. Yes, something about Alex Ferguson. I mean, I don't know what we're doing here. To quote Perchy, the wonder, the maverick, the man that is Perchy. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I'll get my first guest on. I believe my first guest is an Arsenal fan. Let's see what he wants to say. Brother, how you doing, AJ? You good?
I'm surviving. I can't say I'm thriving.
Listen, surviving is the main thing. I mean, dude, listen, you're having a better year than us, for sure.
Not that much.
You're still in the Champions League. You're second in the Premier League. Arsenal fans not happy. Where are you sitting with all this? What's going on down at the Emirates?
To all the Arsenal fans that are unhappy, I mean, I told you 4 years ago this was going to happen. You can't ask someone that's a novice to act as if they're elite. But presuming Arteta leaves at the end of the season, it's actually really hard to determine whether he's a success or a failure, because in terms of major honours, he's objectively failed. But on the other hand, he has left us better than where we found him. So
let me play devil's advocate. Where Mikel Arteta found you wasn't your norm, though, was it? You know, where he found you isn't the Arsenal that we all know. You know, for the last 20 odd years, I don't really remember Arsenal being an 8th placed team. So surely it was that way or nothing, really. You were never going to go that way. So surely that's devil's advocate on. He was always going to make
on that
better,
point. I mean, it depends on better, because on one hand, it's the best defense we've had in the last 10 years. We finally have a competent goalkeeper, even though he got rid of a better one to Aston Villa. That's what I need to say.
Yeah, I'm sure he's made mistakes.
Sure, he's made mistakes.
I'll tell you what. Let me ask you this then. And again, just playing devil's advocate, I don't support your team. Yes, he made you better. Yes, he's got you. It's going to be 3 second-place finishes. But at what point does this stop being acceptable? And yes, it's only 1 place to jump, but that's got to be the next leap. And you guys haven't taken that leap in any way, shape, or form, have you?
I've been Arteta out for ages, though, Savva. I've been cussing him on the whole channel for longer than anyone. But I've been trying to look at this as holistically as I possibly can. But as far as what we can do this season, this season is both the board and Arteta, because on one hand, the board done nothing to rectify the season in January, but on the other hand, Arteta was complacent as hell in the summer. And have you noticed, City and Arsenal have both been complacent, and Liverpool have been absent. And Liverpool didn't spend much, but Klopp was ruthless. He adapted to what he had. Arteta and Pep didn't. And if you look at our attack, for example, our best players are someone that's been overplayed, a 17-year-old, and someone that wants to leave at the end of the season. That is not a recipe for a title race. That's barely top 4.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you, would you say you've been in the title race?
No. I cancelled our title race the second our window was over.
Ryan in the background, could you sit down? You're showing everyone your belly and your stuff, man. Like, come on. Would you say you've been in a title race? Because at no point has it ever really been. I suppose it depends. Like Wolfie tells me a title race is, he goes by the whole mathematical piece. But for me, I think that if we go by mathematics, anyone's in a title race until about 30 games gone in the season. So have you been there or thereabouts this year for a title race?
No. I mean, if you sign Sterling on loan, who's been finished the last 5 years, a keeper that wasn't deemed good enough to be back up at Barcelona, Mikel Merino, who flopped at Newcastle, and Calafiori, who was a gamble at 40 million, how the hell can you look at that and say that's a title winning window? Not title competing, title winning. Because we literally came 2 points off a title. We ended the season really well. And yeah, that comment is true. But on the other hand, yes, we didn't replace Aubameyang, but on the other hand, that kind of touches on to two other problems. Arteta doesn't like players that are individualistic. And two, Aubameyang isn't really the best option to have for a team that wins the title. Like, for example, I don't rate Man United very highly.
Now, you not at this age, but that version of Aubameyang you bought, you would have that right now because you haven't got anywhere half as good as Aubameyang, have you? Let's be honest.
I mean, we signed Havertz to play in midfield, and he's barely acceptable up front. So I'm not complaining if we got Aubameyang, that version of Aubameyang, but there's so many problems to digest. It's pretty hard to truly evaluate how bad he really is. It's similar to how you look at things with Ange. And things with Ange, he's weird. Because I don't think he's bad. I just think he's mishandled it terribly.
Oh, I think he's bad. I mean, you could say you don't think he's bad. The number of defeats over his tenure, the style of football, no one's improved as a player. Surely that tells you. I'll ask you then. When you say he's not bad, what's he good at?
I'm not an Ange fan.
Sure, no, I know, but for somebody to turn around and say he's not bad, that must mean there's some good. So what's he good at?
I mean, I suppose he's done better than the previous. Who's your previous manager? Conte.
At what? At what? Again, this is the thing. At the moment, we've got to the stage where people say these throwaway comments. I wasn't even a Conte fan, but what's he done better than Conte at?
I suppose being a better attacking team, although Conte had better attackers.
I mean, we could say being a better attacking team, but what does that really mean in the grand scheme of things of football? You could be a better attacking team, but if you are 13th in the Premier League and you've lost 14 games in 27, what do you know? Like this is the thing for me, AJ. Right?
That is horrendous.
Loads of people say to me, we scored the second most amount of goals in the league. Okay. But what does that mean when you convert that to a league table? What does that actually mean? It just means that he doesn't know what he's doing at the other end, surely.
I can say this for my team. I mean, we've got the best defense in the country, yet we are in no position to challenge for a title.
Right. So you've got one manager that sets his team up to defend, but can't set his team up to score goals. And you've got the other manager who can score goals, but can't set his team up through midfield and defense. So again, what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of managers now that can only do one thing. The best managers. And if you use Pep Guardiola throughout his career, he's always had that balance from the back to the front. This season, we know they're not having their best season, but they've always had that balance from the back to the front. He's always had that number 6 that can control things. He's always had that player that sits in there and makes it hard to score against his teams. His teams are always going to let in goals because of the nature of the way they play. But that's why he's won multiple Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, La Ligas, whatever it may be. The Artetas and the Anges, they have not got that balance at all anywhere across their team.
That's true. And that comment is 100% spot on. That's why the window was so much worse. Because you can't get rid of players like Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe and not think about long-term replacements. I didn't like the Smith Rowe sale anyway, because you can't overplay players and not expect significant injuries at some point.
Of course.
Look at your squad. Look at my squad. Like my younger brother said this. He's spot on. Injuries breed injuries. Van der Ven, he's hardly kicked a football this season. Udogi's been out for a while. Porro, he's not good. Jeez.
Look, I'm gonna get the next guest on in a second. Just before I do, look, what I would say is, mate, look, you look at people like Mickey Van der Ven. Mickey Van der Ven's played 51% of all games available to him since he joined Tottenham Hotspur. That tells you that there's an issue, right? Now, you can change manager, but this player's always going to have injuries now. He's had 4 major hamstring injuries in 2.5 seasons. He's always going to have injuries. Romero, he's been available for 61% of 4 seasons. But you've got fans that say when they come back, but their injury record, their availability as footballers shows you that when they come back, they're not going to be available for
the long term.
They're never going to have a 10, 15 game, 20 game stretch where you go, well, the back 4's sorted. And this is why I've said I'd sell them. Everyone goes mad. What do you mean? Romero's great. Yeah, but if they're not playing football, what does it mean? Do you know what I mean? If you're not playing football, it doesn't matter.
I understand the Romero one, but the Van de Ven one, not so much. Because I've never rated Romero that highly, to be honest.
Sure.
Van de Ven, to me, he's the only one that can argue is actually great.
I mean, yeah, but if he only plays 50% of games of football for your club, how can you build around that? This is the thing. I think sometimes we have to look past the individual. Sometimes you've got to look and say, what's good for the team, right? And for me, listen, call me old school, but I've always gone off the opinion that to build a top team, you've got to build from the back. And this is why when fans say, oh, we've got the forward sort, we need to get the back. Good teams build from the back. They've always built from the back. You look at one of the first things Pep did at Man City was sort out those fullbacks. One of the first things Pep did was sort out that back 4. Right? It never gets talked about enough because they're so good going forward. But he sorted out that back 4. You look at one of the first things when Harry Redknapp came into Spurs and made us a really good team. He sorted out that back 4. Pochettino, if I keep on the Spurs thing, one of the first things he did was sort out that back 4 and put Steele in the midfield. We've got a manager that just doesn't live by those principles. And unfortunately, that's what we're left with. We're left with injury-prone players, a manager that doesn't know how to coach, and we're left with a football team that are sitting 13th in the Premier League table. It's
don't worry, you got Anfield and Stamford Bridge before the end of the season.
We've got Wolves away, Fulham away, West Ham away, Chelsea away, Liverpool away. It's too much.
My prediction is it might be worse. Old Trafford, Anfield, Newcastle at home, Everton away, got Bournemouth as well. You got the Liverpool-Newcastle game back-to-back, by the way. That's not going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, video complete. I'm going to disagree with you. I see this all the time, that Ange changed mentality. I don't know what that means. How are we judging the change of mentality? I'm seeing a team that collapses week in, week out. But listen, AJ, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get Ryan on. And by the way, the link is in the chat for everyone else. Listen, who's Arsenal's next games? You're not playing this weekend, so Champions League
away, we'll lose.
Say that again.
PSV away, we're going to lose.
PSV away. Listen, look, the Dutch teams have done well. We'll see. Listen, bro, thanks for coming on. Always appreciate your support on the channel, and I'll speak to you soon. All right. Take care, bro. By the way, the link is in the chat. Let's get a few people lined up behind. I'm going to bring Ryan on now, but let's get a few people lined up. I always get told it's an echo chamber. I always get told I don't like different views. Here we are. We're live. We're ready for people to come on. People like this, says things like, this is comical. Petro's been a massive fan of Ange, but just doesn't want to admit that he has absolutely failed. Ryan, how are you, sir? You well?
Yeah, not too bad, man. How you keeping after everything with Frank and everything? You okay, yeah?
All good, brother. All good. All good. I'm just moving on.
What's the puppy saying?
He's very lively, is the puppy. Very lively. He's got so much energy. We'd love him in midfield. He runs around a lot.
Well, do you know what? We could have the puppy and Marketing in midfield, then it'd be perfect. It'll be a perfect match, mate. They'd be giving energy all day long because they could both just run up and down that field all day long. I'm telling you, mate.
That's what we need. So listen, talk to me. What's going on? Talk to me. What did you want to say about football or Spurs or whatever?
Look, to be honest, yeah, when it comes to Spurs, I don't even watch any of the games anymore, Sav. I've actually just given up. I've given up totally on everything to do with the club at the moment. I really have. I don't care if people like what I say or what I don't anymore, because this club is atrocious. It shouldn't be where it is. It's an absolute joke. This clown needs to go. Levy needs to go. Lewis needs to go. Mung needs to go, and so does Lange.
So a full clean sweep of everything in the hierarchy.
Yeah, everyone needs to go, and Ange as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people say like, oh, it's not Ange that needs to go, it's Levy. I don't know about you, but I'm of the opinion, I've always been of the opinion that even if Daniel Levy sold, Levy and Lewis and Enoch sold the club, I still don't want Ange to be the manager that starts a new era. No, I don't know about you, Ryan. I've seen more than enough from this manager that tells me we're a bit of a shambolic mess on the football pitch.
Yeah, we are. And do you know what? I'm of the same. Like the only thing I'm hearing is, yeah, right. Well, I don't know how true or how not true it is. You'll probably be able to tell me more, Sav. But last time I heard that the Qataris were going to have a partial takeover and doing it in stints. Like, do you know what I mean? Like buying it slowly but surely.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how true that is.
I've seen all these rumors. I've seen all these videos that YouTubers have made about Qatari takeovers. Listen, as far as I can see, I've not seen one shred of evidence that this is actually happening. Listen, I'm at the stage where could a new owner be better than Levy and Enoch? Yes. Could they be worse? Yes.
No.
Would I want to find out? Yes. I'll take the risk. I'm as a fan, I'm at the stage where I'd take the risk. But simply, I do not want Ange as the manager. I do not want Ange as the manager, no matter who is in charge of Tottenham Hotspur. Just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100 there, Sav. Like, I don't think I think we might have disagreed on a few things once or twice, but I don't think we literally gone to the point where it's been a full-blown argument or anything, has it really? It's been more just like we disagree and we accept it whether we like it or not. But when it comes down to it, Sav, I just don't. Let's go hypothetically here that Qataris do take over, right? And it's going to be in sections. There's only two ways I would have this. Ange has to go first, and then if Levy wants to deal with the business side and wants to make a big profit, even bigger profit, whilst he's still working on the business side, as long as he stays away from football, I really couldn't give a fuck. Flying monkeys.
But we know that won't happen, right? We've got 25 years of evidence that shows us he can't stay away from the football side. He can't. He wants to be involved in it, and unfortunately, he's a businessman. He's not a football man, right? And I can't see. For me, what I've always said is, if this changes hands, I don't want it to be like Man U, where Ineos come in and own, I don't know, 10%, 20%, whatever they own. I want it to be a full takeover. I want a brand new ownership that can come in and just do whatever they want. That's only my.
I'll put this at you then, mate. Huh? Who's gonna? I'll put this at you then. Who will actually pay the asking price that Levy wants to have the full takeover? Go on.
Say that again. I can't hear. Say that again.
I said, who would take it over as a full takeover, right? When Levy's asking a ridiculous price, who would do it?
Listen, look, there's consortiums out there, there's billionaires out there that want to own sports franchises, and that's what we've become. I don't call us a football club anymore. We are a sports franchise. Boxing, NFL, go-karting, football. You've got the Skywalk, you've got the concerts, you've got the hotels, you've got the golf course. We're a franchise, so you will get people that buy it. I guess the question is, we all make up a lot. This is the problem with this game, right? Is we all make up as to what price Enoch would want. It's not just Levy's decision. Levy owns 30% of Enoch, right? So he has got invested interest. When people say there's nothing to do with Levy, it's Enoch. Well, he owns 30% of Enoch or 29% or whatever it is. For me, we don't know how much they'd ask for Tottenham. You know, I've always had in my mind like a £4 billion figure. That's in my mind. I've always had it around 4 billion. I don't know. I could be a billion off either way. I don't know. I'm not there with the spreadsheets and seeing all the commercials and stuff. But what I do know is I can guarantee it won't be an easy sale. I can guarantee we make whoever buys it, they're going to go through hoops, massive hoops.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So it comes back to the same question then, Sam. Who would actually have the money to actually buy the club outright?
Well, it would be a consortium, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be. I mean, look. I mean, there are people that can buy it outright. If you look at some of the Saudi owners across the world, etc. But you know, if you're looking at someone like an Elon Musk, you know, people like that, they've got the money. But it will probably be more of a Chelsea, wouldn't it? Where you know, it's Clear Lake with their backers, isn't it? It's a consortium of people led by Todd Bowley. I don't think it will be any one person outright. That's just my opinion. Could be.
See, then that's another problem then, Sam, right? And I know I want to take over as much as you want, yeah? But then it's literally going around in circles as well at the same time, because then it's like, it could be another Enoch. Kind of, if you're saying that, yeah, right, it could be another type of Enoch situation. So would it be better to have one person outright just buying the whole club?
Yeah, but that's not quite how life always works. You know, I mean, there are very few people that outright on their own want to buy a £4 billion franchise and then, you know, pump all their own money. That's just not how most of the world works. But there are people that can do it. At the moment, though, I haven't seen anything that suggests we are selling. I haven't seen anything that suggests that Spurs are considering selling. I just keep seeing a lot of tweets. I keep seeing a lot of Instagram posts and Facebook posts where someone says, oh, I know somebody who knows this investment banker who knows this person who said, sure. I just don't think it's happening. Just my opinion, mate. I don't see it happening anytime soon. And I think the key thing with this, Ryan, is people always forget. It's why I've said I don't think the protest will work. I know it sounds harsh, but, you know, they built this by design. They didn't stumble across a stadium that hosts NFL. They didn't stumble across a stadium that's set up perfectly to host concerts and boxing and go-kart track. They built this to be this. Right, so when Spurs fans are now getting annoyed, it makes you laugh, right? Because there were many Spurs fans before they built this said, this is what they're doing. And we were told, you're negative. You just wait until it's built. We're going to compete. You're going to look stupid. They've done exactly what they set out to do. So the question I would have, and I would throw back at anyone, is why would they sell? Right now,
they wouldn't.
Why would they sell?
They wouldn't. That's the answer to your question. They wouldn't, Sav. And it's not just right. It's not just that, right? You're not the only one that gets abuse, yeah, right? Stell gets it as well, and I feel sorry for Stell. The amount of abuse that Stell gets, because I feel like there's sometimes, right, when I see abuse, yeah, right, I feel like jumping back at them, right, because I'm not always on when you're live, yeah, right. So it's kind of hard because I do wake up late some days, but when I'm on and I see that people are throwing abuse at you, I'm like in there, and if I see it, I'm like, stop having a pop at the person and stop telling people this, that, and stop telling Savva this and stop telling Savva that you want him to do this and you want him to do that. And I'm like, just stop. He's a human being. He's got his own opinions, and if you don't like it, then why don't you go and watch a fluffy, sweet channel that will tell you all the rubbish you want to hear?
Look, at the end of the day, don't worry about that, mate. Listen, I'm so used to this YouTube game that I will, you know, I can take any abuse. I will give as good as I get. But listen, Ryan, I am going to let you go, and we're going to get some new people on, hopefully in a second. Listen, stick with the faith. Keep watching them, man. You got to keep watching the games. And look, hopefully things turn around when we finally get a proper manager, proper football coach at this football club.
Well, I'd rather listen to your watch-alongs and actually watch the game, Sam. That's how bad it is. And I don't usually do watch-alongs usually, but I'd rather do that any day of the week than actually watch it on my TV.
Yeah, well, listen, I appreciate that, my man. Listen, you take care. Have a great weekend, all right?
Yeah, you too.
See you, buddy. Take care, mate.
See
Bye-bye.
you, mate. Bye.
Bye-bye. So the link is in the chat for anyone that wants to come on. I always find it funny when I do these shows that it's always the people who argue against me in the chat that never want to come on. I find it hilarious. So, yeah, I'll come on. Yeah, let me on. Never do. They never do. I just want to hear. I want to hear what you know, kind of Enoch and Levy defenders and Ange defender. I want to hear what they say. What's the reasoning behind backing this manager? If this manager was at any other football club, we'd be laughing at how bad he's doing. But with Tottenham, we just seem to sweep it under the carpet. One of his biggest defenders is here. Said, if you're a genuine fan, as I've been since watching the likes of Dave Mackay in 61, as a 7-year-old, my dad, we are a solid team that played football. The best, rarely, attractive, always. Spurs. Sure. So we need to get a manager in that makes us attractive, don't we? If that's the case, because we're not attractive to watch at the moment. This is one of the worst. This is one of the worst styles of football I've seen at Tottenham. We're not attractive at all. Being wide open is not attractive at all. So when you're saying the best, rarely, attractive, always, I don't know what this means. I'd love you to come on one day, Ian. You say a lot, but never, ever want to come on, which is strange. Where are we? Dan has said, even if Levy and Co sell, it can still see Levy with his fingers in the cookie jar. Oh, don't. Yeah. The whole thing just stinks at this club at the moment, doesn't it? Daniela has said there are cheaper options than Spurs to buy outright that are big clubs like West Ham, Villa, Everton. There are, Daniela, but what they won't be buying with those clubs, and this is where football fans don't seem to get this. If you buy Spurs, you're building a ready-made franchise. You are buying the deals with the NFL. You are buying the deals for the concerts. You are buying the deals with the zone and etc. for the boxing. You've got the football. You've got these clubs, West Ham, Villa, and Everton, haven't got that. They might be cheaper, but you haven't got the infrastructure. So whoever buys Tottenham, it's going to be a knife edge, isn't it? It's going to be that knife edge. Somebody could come in and go, right, I'm gonna use this to just make money. Or they could come in and go, you know what? I've got an opportunity to make this brand the best football team in the world. You don't know, do you? And that is going to be always going to be the worry with when we sell up. Who are we getting in? But at the moment, as I said to Ryan just now, I don't see that we are selling. By the way, come on, people. Let's get on. This is your chance to come on. I get loads of people who ask me throughout the week, can I come on? Can we talk? Send me a link. And then when it happens, I love you being in my show, Ian. I like our banter. Don't think because we disagree that I don't like you. I just find it funny. Said, I'm not here to show you are happy with it. Fair enough. However, I do love your show. Listen, I love you being here. I just think that at some point I'm going to get you to admit how bad Ange is as a football manager. We'll see. We'll see. As I said, he's got to win the Europa League. Is the only thing this manager can do to save himself. So Video Complete Sofiane has said Ange will be sacked if Alkmaar knock us out. I don't think Alkmaar will knock us out, if we're going to be honest. I don't think he'll be sacked if they knock us out. This guy seems to be Teflon. He's just not going anywhere. By the way, please, there's nearly 200 of you in here. Please smash that like button, guys. It's been really poor this morning. 79 likes. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. It really does help. Equally, if you haven't subscribed to the second channel, please do. I'm going to put that link in shamelessly. If you haven't subscribed to, hang on, that's videos. There we go. If you haven't subscribed to this second channel, please do. It's growing along nicely. We're nearly at the first 1,000, which in a week and a half is bloody good going. So that's the link. That's the link for the second channel. So if anyone would be so kind, we are about 250 away from the first 1,000. Ricardo, big up to you, has said, like it or not, so much money is there for the taking for investors that no one else can offer. Absolutely. Don't make you wrong. Don't make you wrong. Michael George has said 100% about building from the back, Savva. It's what everyone does. That's what everyone does, Michael. They build from the back, just not Tottenham. You look at one of the first things Slot's done at Liverpool, put in that midfield two of Gravenberch and McAllister. Like, Gravenberch as kind of like a deep lying playmaker, number 6 type. He's made it more solid. It's not rocket science, is it? And that's why I don't understand when people talk about Ange. I just don't. The guy doesn't understand that. It's almost childlike that he doesn't understand it. I agree. I do think he is the worst we've ever had. Let me put the link for here back on. Hopefully we get a few more people that want to come on. It would be really great if we could get a few people coming on. Ideally, some people that don't agree with me. They talk a good game in the chat. What do you do? Discuss it. The second channel is all football. So it's not lives. It's all videos about everything. Transfers, other clubs. I like to keep sharp on what's going on with other clubs and not just Tottenham. So if anyone would subscribe to that channel, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you. Daniela has said, and I don't believe Levy is selling up another Man U, all smoke screens and saying what certain fans want to hear. Well, listen, Daniel Levy's very good at that. So we'll see, won't we? Savva, did you enjoy the Lee Gunner last night, mate? Because I did. Yeah, listen, I love watching Lee. I think he's a great content creator. And he's got standards for his football club. I truly believe that. Leicester beat us recently. So I see a world where, listen, you never know with Spurs. We should beat them, but you never know with Tottenham Video Complete. So many teams have beaten us this year. So many teams have beaten us. By the way, come on, guys. The second channel, smash that link. There it is. If you haven't subscribed already, there is that link. Let's get that to nearly 1,000, shall we? I'm sure there's a few of you in here that haven't. Good morning, Billy. How you doing, my friend? So morning, Savva. I'm Billy. I'm good. I'm really good. I've got a friend. It's my sister-in-law's. It's my brother-in-law's wife's birthday today. So yeah, very good. We're going to that. Ricardo has said Paulinho there for the taking. The moron won't play a 6 anyway. This is the biggest worry, isn't it? This is the biggest worry, is that everyone in world football can see that Tottenham Hotspur are crying out for a number 6, and this manager just can't see it. Yes, Slot would have been brilliant at Tottenham, but he turned us down. So, yes, he's a very good coach. He adapts. He's a great manager. So, yes, I completely agree with you. Come on, guys. Let's get somebody who wants to come on the show this morning, shall we? Here is the link if you want to come on. If you want to agree with me, disagree with me or anything. Maybe you want to have a vent. Maybe you want to have a rant. Maybe you just want to talk about anything football. That would be amazing. George has said, yeah, the link is on the second channel with a Premier League, European and world football is covered. Boom. George, you're an absolute legend. Thank you very much. Silent Violence Forever. Wow, that's a name. I said, big up the host and the chat. Respect from Trinidad and Tobago. Big up to you out there in Trinidad. Big up to you. Thank you very much, Jayid. Appreciate that. Corey said, my son's just robbed me of $8.99 on the Xbox as I was mopping the floor. Yeah, listen, kids will do those sort of things, won't they? Looks like we're not going to get anybody come on the show, which is really, really disappointing. The name of my second channel, it's there. It's here you go. Where is it? George just put it in. Where did he? He just put it there. It is FHTV Plus. So I was just looking for it at the same time. There you go. FHTV Plus. That's the name of the second channel. Michael George is a Perryman, right back, Miller left back, Roberts, Houghton. Yeah, that was a back four, hard as nails, ballers with brains and all. Young uns have to watch 81 FA Cup. Listen, the problem you've got is all the kids now, they think that being a good defender means that you can bring the ball out from the back rather than actually being defending, which is crazy. Big up, Daniela. Thank you very much. There's the link. Come on, people, smash that link. Who wants to come on and have their say? Matt Finn has said, where's Matt when you need him? Yeah, Matt's a funny one. I like Matt. He's always respectful. But he all week he'll be telling me how great Ange is and how brilliant Ange is. Then the moment we've got a game, it turns to, oh, this is going to be a tough one. And you're like, hang on. You can't say that about every game. Barry, look, we've got Barry Royale, who's just joined us. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, mate. I don't know. Has anyone seen Angus? Because apparently Lewis Skelly and Ethan Wanieri are worse than Archie Gray. So
I'd tell you what, shamelessly, we can banter him about it. Where is he? Hang on, it's a Saturday, which means he might have a hangover. He does tend to.
Oh yeah. He'll have a hangover, won't he? Because he's gone missing. He's gone missing.
Whenever Arsenal lose or don't win, it's sorry, it was a hangover. Like, I can't believe. Barry, massive week for Spurs this week. Alkmaar away. We've played them once this year. What are we expecting from the 2 legs against Alkmaar?
Well, look, I think for me, we've had 8 days rest, 7 days rest, 7.5 days rest, whatever you want to look at. So there's no excuse for not going there and winning, right?
Sure.
And obviously the second leg's at home. So over the case of 2 legs, look, it looks like with what Ange did against City that all the eggs are in the Europa basket. So I expect nothing. Well, I'd expect nothing than us going there, putting the tie to bed, and it all being over. But unfortunately, this is Tottenham Hotspur, and we know that won't be as easy as we say it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Daniela, I can see you in the back. I'll be bringing you on when I finish with Barry. So just bear with me there. And I didn't mean to, the private chat I've just sent to you, I didn't mean to put that in all capitals. So apologies. That's what happens when you...
you did. Yeah, you did, Savva. You're shouting in capitals, didn't you?
I know. Do you know what? And if you actually look at the message I've sent in there, right, you can see that where I've put Daniela, I've got a small D, which means I've not looked at the key, but anyway, who cares? Right. Yeah, listen, every bit of me thinks we should be going to AZ Alkmaar and AZ Alkmaar second leg at home. For me, I've no excuses here, Barry. Yeah. No excuses. We've got enough players back. We've got absolutely no excuses for me. What did you make of this whole resting players with the Europa League in mind?
Yeah, like we kind of touched on it the other day. I wasn't really upset about Kulu or Son. I was more upset about Jed Spence, right? And I think that you know people saying, "Oh, he's played back." The guy's played like 8 games, 9 games, or whatever it is, right? He's not played that many games compared to the Son, compared to Kulu, and obviously they've had injuries and and everything else, right? So I'm kind of numb to it, like a lot of people, right? Daniel Harris is obviously glutton for punishment. He needs to go, and he obviously wants to go and see Danny Kiriakou again because he's got my Forest ticket. So I mean, I guess that's what he wants to, that's what he wants to do. But I've literally got no interest in going to Tottenham, to go to the stadium, to go and watch a game of football any longer. It's that bad. And I think if Daniel Levy, I guess, has got 2 things here. He can either wait, because obviously season ticket renewals are going to start coming out. He's either going to wait and sack Ange, and then everyone's going to get excited and renew, or he's going to just think, well, let's get rid of some more fans, and we'll just get some more customers in to replace the real fans in that stadium.
Yeah, when it comes to ticket renewal time, it's always very, very interesting at this football club. That's the time where we normally get linked with Lionel Messi, but end up signing some kid from Turkey who's the next Lionel Messi. So yeah, it's a tough one. But is there? I mean, you call me doom and gloom here, Barry, but is there something poetic about Troy Parrott being the centre forward that's going to play against Spurs in over 2 games? I've just got this horrible feeling that, I'm trying to think of a pun, like Parrott, Parrott on the shoulder of Spurs.
Parrott punishes woeful Spurs or something like,
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, like parrot. You know, I just
parrot again, yeah. I don't think so. I think we saw. I think we saw. Obviously, we had Marcus Edwards and the Sporting Lisbon connection. That yes, he scored, but he didn't. We nothing really happened in that game. I don't think it's going to be a. I don't think it's going to be a case where they come back and he comes back and he haunts us. If this was a Bayern Munich, it'd be Eric Dyer coming back to haunt us, not Harry Kane, right?
Yeah.
We'd have that. I mean, but look, I just isn't it ironic as well that a Perisic is potentially going to be knocking out an Arsenal team in a couple of weeks, right? At the grand old age of 412 or however old he is now, right? With his knackered ACL that all of a sudden is fine now that he's out of Tottenham, right? The same with a lot of players. So look, I don't think so. I think that we go there, they're all rested. We've got nothing to worry about. I mean, look, it in a way, it's probably best that we're out of the FA Cup because,
because we weren't going to bloody win it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was listening on the way back, and I heard with AJ saying what positive is it? I think the only positive is that we got to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup final. That's the only difference in the season before to now. But bearing in mind that we just scraped past Coventry. We just scraped past Man United, and we played a Man City team that was, in the absolute doldrums, right? So it's not like we were playing them at the top of the game. And there's still Man United fans that think they're going to get relegated, which is laughable. They're so I think it's whatever weekend it is, it's us or Man United who's going to do worse. And thankfully, at the moment, it's Man United, right?
But is it Man United doing worse? I mean, if we look at the Premier League table, and Daniela, thank you for your patience, and we'll get you on. And then after Daniela, I've got some bloke called Lubo61 in the background, lurking around to probably talk about his daily dose of Archie Gray or something. If we actually look at the Premier League table, right? Listen, I know, fair enough, we're above them, right? But hang on, where are we? There we go. I mean, Nick, Look, we are level on points with Man United. like everyone's saying that this is the worst Man United team they've ever seen, while Spurs are level on points with them, have lost more games than them. And what's worrying about this little group that we've now created a little mini league. Have you seen it? If you look at it,
we're top of our league.
No, hang on. Brentford are top of the league.
No. The top of the league starts at 13th, Savva. Let's not get carried away. Okay. Yeah? Let's not get carried away. The top of our league starts. We're first. We're 13th, but we're first.
We're first for the bottom 8. Yeah. Again, somebody said this morning in one of my groups, said look at Man U, West Ham, and Everton. If those guys pick up a point at the weekend and we don't, when we play Bournemouth, we're gonna be 16th, and there's still gonna be fans loving this guy. And what makes me laugh, I won't keep you for too much longer because I do need to get Daniela on, is people make me laugh like Ian, you've been a massive Ange fan all year. All year you've told me how great he is and what he does and what he did at Celtic. And now we've got to the stage where these fans are now saying, well, if you get your 7th choice, what do you expect? Well, hang on, that's not what I was told, Barry. I was told by all these Ange fans that it's nothing to do with that. I was told that he's a brilliant manager. I was told he's a brilliant coach. You watch what he does, Savva, in season 2. Well, I've watched. I took their advice. I've watched what he did in season 2, and season 2 has been from taking us to 13th in the Premier League. Like we are, if I look at that league table, we are 9 points off the top half. Like 9. Imagine, Barry. Imagine I'd said to you in June, July, August before the season started. Imagine I'd said, right, the 1st of March we're going to be 10 points off the top half. You would have laughed at me. I would have laughed at me. I would have been bantered and made memes about me all over the internet. But here we are. This is where we find ourselves.
We would say, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
What are we doing here, Perchy? What are we doing here?
But look, what I'll say is before I go is the only thing that will stop us potentially going further down the league is because the other teams have who they got to play. United have to play Arsenal. They've got to play Forest. They've got to play Leicester. Everton have got to play Liverpool. They've got to play Forest. They've got to play Arsenal. They've got to play West Ham. They've got to play Man City. So, and West Ham have got Newcastle, Wolves, Liverpool, Everton, Bournemouth, Southampton. So realistically, I would be I wouldn't be surprised if we stay. That it's pretty much going to finish around that. And the only thing that's holding us there is that excellent goal difference from that excellent attacking team that is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Mate, listen, do you know what? You're spot on. I will let you go, but you're absolutely right. And this is why the people that all year have said, oh, we could get relegated. I never bought into that. People, the Man U fans going, we could get relegated. I hate to break it to people, but Spurs and Man U are 16 points above Ipswich, who are in 18th. Now, if Ipswich gets 6 points between now and the end of the season, I'll be staggered, let alone 16 and Spurs and Man United not picking up any points. So just quickly, last thing before you go, have you ever seen a league table this cut off? I can't remember it, Barry.
No, I think this is potentially the worst Premier League season that I've ever witnessed in terms of the league's done. Liverpool, I don't care what anyone says. There's no way Liverpool are dropping 13 points, right? All right, Arsenal have got a game in hand. Let's talk about their game in hand. They're not dropping 10 points, right? You've pretty much got Arsenal guaranteed top four. I can't see them falling away. There's probably Forest, City, Chelsea, 3 teams for the 2 places. I mean, you could argue Newcastle, but the rest below them, they're hit and miss. So there's nothing really going on there. The bottom 3 are the worst bottom 3 that I've ever seen in the Premier League. And there's been some horrendous bottom 3s, right? Because Ipswich are now 5 adrift. So it's pretty much done. Last weekend was a killer for them, with Wolves winning and obviously us scraping through and flattering with that flattering scoreline. But so I just think let's just move on, end the season, give Liverpool the title, and Arsenal keep disappointing us as always. So that's the only thing. Again, another season for Tottenham where Arsenal failing is what we're celebrating. So.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. Thanks very much. And I'm sure you'll join me midweek for my Champions League score show.
No worries.
Always love having you, Barry. Take care, mate.
Take care, buddy.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So I'm going to bring Daniela on just quickly before I do. Big up to Ricardo, who said, thanks for your time and dedication in providing great content. Some might argue with you, Ricardo, about it being great content, but the dedication I don't think can be questioned. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. And big up to Blaine. Always very, very, very generous. I said, can't come on this morning. Have a shocking migraine, but nice to hear a wide range of views from the community. Come on, folks, get on and voice your mind. Big up to you, Blaine Dev. Hope your migraine gets sorted. Luckily, something I've never suffered from. My mum used to suffer for them and was in bed for 2 days at a time. Dark room. Everyone just get out, kids, get out the room, But big up to you, Blaine Dev. Hope you get better soon, my man. So I'm going to bring Daniela on. And then I'm going to bring on Lubo after that. So, Daniela, welcome to the show. First time. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, Sav. First of all, simply with Frankie, have pets and that. And also, as a trans person, I like to say, everyone, stop the hate. Just stop the hate.
Yeah, listen. In the world, let's stop the hate, Daniela. I mean, look. Welcome onto the show. As I said, your first time. So you are a West Ham fan.
I'm a West Ham fan. There's not much I do disagree with, surprisingly, but I disagree with one thing, is that I don't think either our squads are as strong as some of us really think they are. I think so. But my main point I want to look at is this league. This league's been a strange league, yeah. The issue that I don't think anyone's talking about is the 4 international competitions we had last season. I think has taken a lot out of these players. we had 4 major international competitions, i.e., like AFCON, Asia Cup, Euros, and the World Cup. And I think with all the extra games everyone's played, with the extra European games, it's not surprising that it's actually the bigger teams that are suffering this year. You look at it, it's all us big teams that are suffering. Liverpool
do you know what? You might have a point. I think there's a lot of football being played. And, we've seen a lot of these arguments have been coming out over the last few years from players, from managers, saying that, these players aren't robots. They're being asked to play European football, international football, league football. How does this change from your point of view? How does that change in a world where all of these tournaments are bringing in revenue? Even the Champions League games now, there's more games. Well,
I think that's the problem. I think we're like with all life, where if there's, I put on a Spurs post saying, a post that there's a song that sums up Man United. It's the Queen song, I Want It All. And I think that sums up football at the moment. I want it all. And I think we've got to accept that actually sometimes less is best. We have to go.
Best band of all time, by the way.
I'm a Bowie fan. I love Queen, but I'm a Bowie fan.
Buddy Holly?
Bowie.
I thought you said Buddy Holly. I'm like,
no. Wait for it. I'm 60 this year, so
I'm all up for a bit of David Bowie, but for me, Freddie Mercury and Queen. Anyway, look, you're right. It's money. This is the problem. It's driving everything. So, when clubs are buying players now, they're having to look at, well, hang on, if we buy that African player, we're going to lose him every year and a half, whatever it is. We've got it with Son. I think, was it last season we had Son, Sarr, Basuma. I want to say someone else, and I can't quite think right now. But I think we had like 3 or 4 of the squad that just go off to these tournaments.
Yeah, well, we had Kudus, Aguirre, and someone else in January. Then in the summer we had Bowen, Paquetá, Emerson, all going off. So we're all in the same boat, and it's and next December we have AFCON again.
Yeah.
Which is
even look at, God, what year are we in? We're in 2025. Not last year, the year before, whenever it was. Look at the World Cup. Yeah. Like because of where it was hosted, the World Cup just suddenly jumps into the middle of December, and it's like, what are we? You know what I mean? What are we doing here? Why has football changed so much? What was wrong with football before? I don't think anything was wrong with it.
I don't think there was anything wrong with it. I think basically it's the bigger clubs want more. We all want a part of the pie, but unfortunately, the fact of the matter is, there's only 3 domestic competitions we can all win. So 3/3 of us are going to be disappointed at the end of the season. You're taking the 90 clubs in. A lot of clubs are going to be disappointed at the end of the season. But it is this whole thing that we're all looking. We want a bit of cream, bit of cake. We don't like disappointment, and because of, in a way, I think social media has done this. Definitely TV, the more tea, and people saying, and people are using football as something to get excited because they're not dealing with their lives. And I've said this comment that if us fans got as emotional and put more emotion into our own lives than what we did with football, we might all have better lives. If we actually cared about what we do in our lives. I've actually cut a lot of my football down. I've done what you've done. I'm putting my feet back on the fan. This season, I love my team. It's sort of my life, but I'm not getting too downhearted if we lose games. We lose games. It's only a sport at the end of the day.
Yeah, do you know what? It's a good message. There's so much in life. There's so much in life where if we did apply the same passion we do for 11 men running around on a bit of grass, that we've got no control over. Huh?
Overpaid.
Overpaid. Oh yeah,
they're
absolutely
all overpaid. I'm sorry. I don't get this for any more money. They're all overpaid. Man United players the financial problem at Man United, the Man United players should have all took a pay cut. I think it's disgusting they haven't done. And I think naturally being brought out said, you're losing staff that have to have incomes, families, who are only on something like 24 grand a year, less than that. And you get paid more. They said Casemiro's wages could have saved the whole canteen staff they sacked.
Do you know what? I saw a post yesterday, which I thought was really interesting. And it said, if every first team player at Man United just said they're going to take one member of staff for Man United and pay their wages for the year, right? For most of those players, those wages wouldn't even be 3 days of pay.
No.
So, like, I know when you get like the Casemiro's on 350 grand a week, one day's pay of 50k a week will pay for somebody's yearly salary. Now, I don't know if they're allowed to do that or there's something stopping that, but you would like to think that whoever the captain is or somebody would get the players together and go, hang on, we can save 40 to 50 people's jobs here, you know. But look, football has gone mad. Football has gone so much about money. I also think, I'm going to say it controversially because I am a YouTuber. I think the money that can be made from things like YouTube, Pot Kettle Black, from YouTube, from Instagram, from X, from TikTok, I think has also made people dumb. Now, before you have a go at me, I think it's made people dumb on purpose. So, as I said, last few days, when I see these videos where they go, this famous YouTuber said this, and you're like, no, that person does not believe that. They have said this because that will get this video 70, 80, 90,000 views. And just to let you know how it works, and sorry if you already know this, if I put out a video, if I do a video after this, a 10-minute video, and it gets, let's say, 70,000 views, right? Just off of that one video, right? I could make, depending on adverts and how long people watch, I could make £1,000, right? Now that's absolutely ridiculous. So when I see, like, as I said yesterday, I saw Flav Bateman arguing Harry Kane's better than Thierry Henry. No, stop. Just stop. And we saw Rory Jennings, you know, said Erling Haaland will fail. It's like you never believed that. He was the most sought after striker in world football, and you believed he'd come to the Premier League. And they say these things because it gets more views and it makes them more money. And sorry if that pisses off any YouTubers out there, but
it's all
YouTubers that are honest don't make as much money. And that's why, bit of a tangent here, sorry about this, Daniel, but this is why I get really frustrated when people say to me, you're only saying this content for the money. And you're like, well, yeah, it's my job. But if I wanted to make loads of money, I would be utterly shameless. I would be shameless in every video.
It's all about people making money. People, it's the act of fame. I want to make money. It's the modern way of life. I think COVID. I thought when we had COVID, tell about myself. I had my gender operation 3 days a week before COVID all happened. And I was sitting at COVID and thinking maybe we as a race has finally decided that we have to sort our life has to slow down. I think internet now. I think life just got too fast, too quick. It's too much about making money. Now. It's like to say, I said, if we want to have the song for the human society, it's I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. And I think sometimes we just have to slow down and breathe. I
agree.
I grew up not having a telephone. I grew up with no internet. I grew up in the 70s and 80s where you only had 2 channels. Your remote was tied to a cable. And you had to get up to watch the TV off and stuff like this. You had to dial a phone. You had to arrange to meet your mates the night before and hope they turned up on time.
Do you know what? Even when I was at college, right? I remember it'd be like, right, who's meeting where? I'll meet you at the King's Head at 7 p.m. All right, see you there. There was no groups of what you wearing, who's getting there, how you getting it. It was I'll be there at 7,
or 7-ish.
7-ish, yeah, 7-ish. But you know, it's gone mad, and you know, listen, I've got nothing against people making their money, but I feel like the world's got so greedy. Like
it's balances.
so greedy.
I've in my life now, as I say, I'm coming up to 60 in July, and one of the things I've gone through is making sure I have balance.
Yeah,
I have that. It's that balance where I'm not getting too stressed because you've got to take your stress out. I'm not getting too, and it's that having that balance, and sometimes turning off, saying no, turning up.
Yeah. We don't switch off enough. Do you know what I've done? I've actually turned my notifications off because after I've done a show, like I'm going to go out with my wife, we've got plans. I turn my notifications off because otherwise it just goes boop, 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 boop. And that's just YouTube, right?
Well, in COVID, I probably joined 20 football sites. I've cut them all down. I only do 2 or 3 now. I've done you. I've got a guy. I'd like you to come along because there's a guy at West Ham called Stel West Ham Voice. I think you might enjoy him. We have a similar film where it's just honest, pure football.
Yeah.
And no banter in other clubs. Everyone's welcome. No bantering. Keep the banter to match. I think the banter is fun, but it should be just kept to match days. Match day banter on match days. Everything else is civil.
Yeah, it's funny. I tell you what. Listen, before I let you go, Daniela, because Lubo is waiting, and he's going to be my last caller of the day. I say that Lubo and I will end up going backwards and forwards for about half an hour, rowing about something.
Before I go, can I say hi to a Spurs fan that we chat a lot on your chats? Hi, Sue Smith. It's been lovely chatting.
What a legend. What a legend. Stu, hope you're well wherever you are. Listen, Daniela, the last thing I'll say is this. I made a promise to myself that when I started my YouTube channel, was that I was going to be how I was before, right? Yeah. I made a promise to myself that I was always going to be non-biased, right? So if I think something shit at Spurs, I will say it. If I don't rate a player because they're at Spurs, I will say it. If I think a player's good but they play for Arsenal, I won't go, oh my God, they're Arsenal. You're shit. Yeah. I'm a grown-up. I will say it.
I'm doing the same.
Yeah, it's the way to be. But listen, you're always welcome on the show. Great for you to finally come on and always see you in the chat. So listen,
could I suggest something for your other show? I've just signed on to it. I haven't seen anything, but I've always think this is something we could do, considering how little people know about past. A couple of shows on the greats of the past from all football.
Yeah. Do you know what? We have tried before to do shows like that. The problem is there's so many people now that are just not interested in it.
Okay.
And it's such a shame. It's a real shame when like myself and Kuvra and Ben have done shows about the greats of the past and great managers and players, and people just go, oh, not as good as Kulu. And you're like, oh gosh, stop.
One of my first European games was Spurs. I remember West Ham Spurs, Martin Shivers walking down the touchline because he didn't want to get caught offside.
Right.
And that.
Yeah.
Perriman, Mabbott, Brooking, Devonshire, Dalglish, Keegan, Toshak, Highway.
Can you stop naming players that are so much better than the players that we see now, please? Like Toshak, Keegan, Dalglish, Brooking. We've now got people like Brennan bloody Johnson being praised.
I know. You had Perriman? What a cat Perriman! It's like he was like I know where Billy Bonds and stuff like that.
Yeah,
pure gentleman. You had Jennings. I was watching the Spurs 1981 Spurs Cup finals. You won, and Ray Clements was in goal. Caught everything. None of this palming away. None of this punching. He caught everything. Everything was. And he came.
Do you know what? Those old goalkeepers would come through the bunch, take everyone with them, and take the ball. Nowadays, the goalkeeper gets flicked, and people go penalty, like they go foul, and you're like,
and no gloves. No gloves.
No, yeah.
In midwinter, no gloves.
Listen, talking about somebody who remembers football in the black and white days, I am going to bring Lubo on now. But
lovely talking to you, Sav. Be well.
And you.
And I know you've gone through a lot of stuff. I know what it's like. I'm in the community where there's a lot of mental. I've watched the mental illness. A lot of mental illness. Just stay in there and yet talk. And if anyone can't remember anyone, if you're feeling down, feeling unhappy, talk to someone. If you lose someone in your life, but always talk to someone. There's always there that someone will listen to, and there's always help out there. There's help out there. And someone, if you don't know it, okay. Thank you very much. I'm off shopping.
Keep talking, people.
Enjoy the
Take
weekend.
care, Daniela. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
What a good call that was from Daniela. And I'm going to bring in Lubo.
Nice and chilled today.
Hang on. Lubo, can you give me 1 second? Sorry, just talk. Say something Spurs. Talk about Archie Gray. Sorry, really desperate.
I have the comments going today. What are we talking about? Brennan the GOAT. Kulu. Lulu has more. What do people think of who is the everyone on the comment? Who is on the comments today? Who's your favourite Spurs player? Let's see a few through the years, or top three, if you can't pick one. Now that's an interesting subject. Thank goodness Spurs aren't playing this weekend. We can have a chilled weekend now. Who's putting up? Anybody putting up? Bale, Essie and Capu. Well, there you go. Ginola. Good player, Ginola, wasn't he? Fell out with George Graham, I think, the year before he left. Bale, Kane and Son. That is my favourite front three. I think that was a superb front three, wasn't it? It was just a shame it was over COVID. Nobody was around to see it. Who else? Martin Chivers. I can remember Chivers. I remember being behind the goal. I've just asked everybody to put their favourite all-time Spurs player down.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, the puppy was he was having a mad few minutes, and I had to step in. So he's gonna be streaming with us for the next 10 minutes, and then I will be ending the show half past. Who was your best ever Spurs player, Lubo?
Well, my favourite Spurs player was Hoddle. I was asked on a podcast the other Friday to name my all-time Spurs 11 position by position. And I went Jennings in goal. Back four was Stevie P, right back. Full centre-backs were Toby and Ledley, with Cyril Knowles on the left. Midfield was Hoddle, Gaza. Who was the third? Who did I put on the third? Hoddle, Gaza, and can't think. I've had a mind blank. Front three was Bale, Kane, and Greaves. God, who was the third midfield player? Ozzy, as the number 6. Ozzy, I'll do this.
He wasn't a bad player. He wasn't a bad player, was he?
That wasn't a bad side.
Do you remember the 11 I put in our group when you said that, and you didn't like my 11?
Go on, what was it?
You've got to remember what I can't do is I won't put in players I've not seen. So I'm not. I thought
Tielemans was stretching it a bit, Sav.
Tielemans. I've got Tielemans, Morgan Rogers, Matty Cash. No. What was the team I picked? So I'm just trying to remember from that chat. So I said it would only be players I've seen. I could easily go down the route of Perryman, Greavesy, but I didn't see them. So I'm going to go with. I went with a Viking in goal. I went with Big Eric Torsvet in goal. Go on, Eric. Those tiny little shorts, but the great big hands. Go on, son. I went with a back three. I mixed it up. I went with a back three of Sol Campbell, Ledley King. Sorry. Sol Campbell, Ledley King, and Toby Alderweireld.
Okay.
I could have had Mabbott, but I went with Toby. I thought he was a better all-round footballer. I then went with a midfield four of Ginola, Hoddle, Modric, and
Bale.
Did I go with Bale? I went with Bale, and then went with a. No, did I? Hang on, who am I missing? I've left someone out.
Anderson.
No, and then up front, I didn't because I went with a front three that didn't have Kane. That is what I think you pulled me up. I went with a front three that was Klinsmann, Sheringham or Berbatov, or someone else. I can't remember right now.
It could have been Sheringham and Berbatov.
Emerson Royale. Yeah, Ginola and Bale. I think they were all in there. Ginola, Bale, Modric, Hoddle. I had the Berbatovs, Klinsmans. I'm missing one, but we've had some players, haven't we, Lubo? We've had some brilliant players at the Lane.
It's been superb. I mean, we've even had a few this century as well, haven't we?
God,
not as many as before, but that's why it's important that's people like Mikey Moore come through, because I think the fan base needs some excitement. They need some exciting players that get you off your chair when you're watching a game. I mean, I was listening. Funny enough, I was listening to someone talking this morning, and they were saying that the 94-95 season, Klinsmann, whenever he was on the ball, everybody was up. Everyone was like, "What's going to happen next?" And it was brilliant.
Oh, do you know what I've said? If we look aside from who the manager is and the formation and the tactics, more than anything, what I've said for the last 5, 6, 7 years is we miss a maverick. Yeah. Now, Kane was a great player, but not a maverick. We miss a Waddle, a Bale, a Ginola, a Hoddle. Someone that you go, I can't wait to get to the ground and watch him play. And we haven't got it.
Do you not think that the way football has evolved, and not for the best, 95% of the time a player it's control and give. So they've taken the individualism out of it, and it was interesting because it came away from the pre-season friendly with QPR, and my son's 25, and he said to me, Dad, you look at the way the kids play and the way the senior pros play, and it's funny, you had Mikey Moore coming down the wing, put the ball across. I think it was Lancashire or Scott. It was one of them that put the ball in front of us. And he was saying that if you look at the senior pros, it's very robotic.
Really robotic.
And that's what Premier League football is today. You don't have those exciting Bale type players anymore. Chris Waddle was terrific. It was, where are the Chris Waddles in the league? You can't even say that. We saw Doco and Savinho on Wednesday, but they completely different style to Waddle, Bale, whoever.
But you know what? At least when Man City get to watch De Bruyne or Savio or Doku, they're getting to watch people who get the ball and want to do things. I love forward-thinking footballers. Like, even to a lesser extent, if I watch West Ham, I like Mohamed Kudus. Kudus gets the ball, and you can see the first thing he wants to do is he wants to shuffle it out of his feet, go past a player, glide past them. And we just don't have it. But by the way, this comment, you said great players, but no success. Many of those players we mentioned did have success. Yes, they did. Not all of them, but many of those players we mentioned had success. Like, you think Ledley King had success. Gareth Bale had success at Spurs. Ginola won trophies at Spurs. Hoddle won trophies. Ozzy Ardele's won trophies. Perry, many of the players we mentioned there.
Yeah, most of them won a trophy. We were used to getting a couple of cups at least every decade, up to the turn of the century. It's just gone terribly wrong.
I don't understand it. By the way, is there a penalty at Crystal Palace? Not sure. There's no idea. Ulfric, I said, Savva, what do you mean? Why don't you mention Kane as a maverick? Well, what I mean is Harry Kane was a superb footballer. Sorry, is a superb footballer. But you understand what I mean, don't you? Like, okay, so back in the day, I'll look at the era and I'll use my man Ginola, right? When Ginola played for Tottenham, it wasn't the greatest team we'd ever had, right? But anytime Ginola got that ball, it's not Ginola, is it? It's Ginola. Anytime Ginola got the ball, the crowd collectively sort of went like that, didn't they, Lou? But do you know what I mean? Like, the crowd kind of went.
To an extent, I think to an extent, because I think about being behind the goal at Barnsley when Ginola ran through about 5 players from the touchline, from the halfway line, and scored. And the only current player thinking about that sort of goal was Sonny against Burnley the other year. He could, Sonny on the ball when he was going full pelt was in his prime was superb. Absolutely.
So just quickly, Lubo. Sorry, what people were talking about? There's Millwall have had a man sent off in the first 8 minutes at Crystal Palace. A nice South London derby, and Japhet Tanganga is currently on my screen. But look, Sonny for me was a very direct runner. Yes, for me was never the skillful guy, maverick, but yeah, it was exciting. Now though, when I look at it now, Lubo, I think we've gone so far away from any excitement in this team. We are now a very regimented. Like you watch when the wingers get the ball, all they do, Lubo, cut inside, isn't it? Get the ball, cut inside, and it must be boring for them as well, mustn't it? If you're a footballer and your instruction is get into a good space on the wing, when you get it, pass it 5 yards inside to a midfielder, it's really boring.
I think it's just the way they train that it just becomes second nature, doesn't it? And I think that's, listen, hopefully things will change and we can start watching more attractive football going forward. So
yeah. No, I really, really do hope so. Thank you for the 2 people that just unsubscribed. I thought we were having a nice little show here, and 2 people just unsubscribed. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. That'd be amazing. And please do subscribe to the second channel as well. A little shameless plug there. Here is the link for the second channel. If anyone would subscribe, that would be great. Yeah, listen, I just, I wouldn't mind as such not winning things. Obviously, we all want to win things, but I think the fact that we're not winning things and that I'm so bored of the players we've accumulated, that doesn't help for me, Lubo. I don't go into the build-up of a Spurs game going, "Cool, we're going to watch him today." I find it all a bit mundane. All right, come here. All right, come here. Sorry.
Well, it hasn't been that way since Poch, has it? Really? And you think about the 16-17 season was when we finished second with 86 points. The football was terrific. I mean, I remember being at Leicester, second last game of the season. We went up there and won 6-1, and we just ripped them to pieces. And you went to every game, and you were looking forward to it. The football against West Brom that year when we beat them 4-0 in January at home was just fantastic. I mean, the first 45 minutes was wonderful. And, there's so many good memories of entertaining matches under Pochettino. I think, people, I used to hear people having a go saying, "Oh, he's 1-0. He always falls at the final hurdle." Put that to one side. What about properly being entertained? Going to a match and looking forward to going to a match and knowing you're going to be entertained and really enjoying it. And I've not felt that really since.
Agreed.
I think since then, I think we had half a season with Conte, didn't we, when he joined? And those last 3 months I thought were terrific, and we were the second highest scorers from the time Conte joined in November. Apart from Man City, we were the highest goal scorers in the Premier League, and it was terrific. And that was how Conte played with Chelsea and Juve when they won the league and they scored more than 90 goals. So this whole thing about Conte being pragmatic and negative was only because he didn't have the players to play that he wanted to play the way he wanted to do. So
but that's levelled at Jose a lot as well. Like Jose at Real Madrid and Chelsea broke records for goal scoring. Whilst, by the way, not just goal scoring, whilst his teams won. Look, for me, I just want to enjoy Spurs again. Like, I want to win things, but when people say, "Oh, well, attractive football isn't winning football," well, neither's the football we're watching now, Lubo. This isn't winning football, and I'm just really bored of it. And I'll tell you what, I can't get to grips with, mate. Is we talk about this a lot. I can't ever enjoy wide open football like this. This for me is what I would expect. When you're a kid and you went down a park with your mates. Do you remember the days you used to be like 20 of your mates? You got a couple of jumpers for goalposts. I'd expect this. I'd expect wide open. Yeah, you score 20, we'll score 21. I don't expect it when I watch a professional football club in the top league. In one of the top leagues in world football, right? In a £1 billion stadium, I don't expect to see that sort of football. That for me is not enjoyable in any way, shape, or form. And really bad sight to see here. Mateta is being stretchered off. He's concussed here. So Mateta is coming off on a stretcher And the one player Palace do not want to miss is Mateta. But yeah, look, Lubo, I'm just, I want some excitement. I want to sign a player which gets me off my seat.
You know, listen, we're still in Europe. You never know. Take it one round at a time. I don't want to look any further forward than Alkmaar. If we can get through Alkmaar, cup football's funny.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, you look at the other matches, and there's not really a game where you're saying, well, they're gonna thrash them. There's a game that could swing. You can have referees' decisions, players get injured, teams down to 10 men. You got a cracking game, Roma Bilbao. For me personally, I'd like to see Bilbao go out because they're one of the main dangers, if not the favourites. You just don't know. You look at while you're in the cup, you got a chance, and you just don't know what's going to happen in the other games. So
I don't doubt that, but I know I'll be bored the whole way. I'm literally at the stage with this manager where even when we're winning games, it's so shit to watch. Like, it's just so bloody boring. We scored 4 past Ipswich, and it was a boring game. Like, how does that happen? Like, it's just boring. That's only me. I'm not asking anybody else to subscribe to that way of thinking, Lubo. I'm not telling you to. Everyone's their own person, but I'm just so like, I'm watching Eze now, right? Even Eze, I'm watching right now. Just the way just then he's rolled his foot over the ball, done a little shuffle, and dropped his shoulder. We don't have anyone that does that. We don't have anyone that can do, like, right now what I'm seeing Eze do. Like, I just want football. I want to be entertained. I
must tell you, it's only a small cameo. It's a small window. But you look at Mikey Moore against Alkmaar in that 15 minutes where he destroyed the right back. I mean, there was one wonderful ball with the outside of his foot across the back four, and the youngsters were saying, "Get me off your
seat." No, come on, they don't get you off your seat. If you think they're good players, sure, but these aren't the players that. Come on, we just sat and talked about Bale and Ginola and Hoddle and Waddle, and you're, no offence, but you're talking about a 17-year-old.
Yeah, let's give these guys a chance to develop, and then in a couple of years, have a look at it. I think, what we're talking about is players with the ability of a Bale. But the problem is that we don't go and buy these 25, 26-year-old established players. We're not prepared to pay the wages. So, and the very few Mavericks that are around are going to cost a fortune.
Sure. So, but that's why all I want is like a kudos. I think you no Ian, stop now. You're being silly. Stop. It's not about giving them a chance. Listen to what we're saying, because what you're trying to do here. Sorry, I get so frustrated when people like this manipulate what I've said. This is not about giving them a chance. I'm talking about I want to see some Mavericks, and you're talking about Gray and Bergvall, right? They are kids that haven't developed. Stop. It's not about giving them a chance. I'd love to see someone like a Mohamed Kudus from West Ham. I think he'd be brilliant. You buy him, get him the ball out wide. You see somebody who's quick, strong, drives at goal. I'm not asking for the best players, but I also won't take this. This is when he turns into, I won't say it, but I get really frustrated. Frustrated.
Ian, we're talking about a different thing here, matey. We're talking about a different thing.
It's crazy. But anything to stick up for his boy, Ange Postecoglou, who's... Ian, you've been wrong all year about Ange, I'm afraid. Just take it on the chin. You've been very wrong about him. Yes, Philly. Yes, Alex Buena is brilliant. I would take him all day, every single day. Also, Sanset at Bilbao. Yes. There are good players everywhere. Lubo, what you got planned for today? Anything football-based?
No, not really. Might catch up on a few old match of the days that I haven't seen, or a few bits and pieces. I've got loads on telly to watch because I don't watch telly anymore. I seem to be on podcasts or Spaces quite a bit. But no, listen, today's going to be a nice chill day, and nothing arranged tonight either, which is lovely. So a day out. No football this weekend. Looking forward to my trip to Holland next week, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, listen, look, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Guys and girls, please, we've had 3 people unsubscribe today, which is hard work as a YouTube when you get up on your Saturday, put on a show for people, and then people unsubscribe. So please subscribe on your way out. I am going to go because my uncle's just arriving. Lubo, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Take care. And as always, come on.
You Spurs.